as clientele, so we're good. No, so okay, Sammy, question for you then, and I really want to know, how is it being? Because I know I thought you were a black dude. Like in all honesty, I didn't think you were poly at all. You look like a nigga. In all honesty, you look like me. So how is it being a black dude in Utah, just in general, before we even get to being a black dude with white kids?
Um, to be honest, and I've told a lot of people this is, um, I never had problems with racial any type of racial issues. I to my memory, I've had one issue with prejudice as far as racism, and it wasn't until I went to college in Utah,
Southern.
Wow.
Southern Utah University. So I went down
SU.
south,
Cedar.
like down south Utah, small town down south, and I went out there to play football, and oh, okay,
Oh, no, you're good. You're good.
and that's the first time I ever had, um, I ever experienced or was approached by a racist. Uh,
What happened?
so I remember it as clear as day. I will for the rest of my life, and I think the reason I will because it's the first time it ever happened to me, right? And so
Right.
it was my freshman year, so it was my first year down there. It was like, um, I don't know, it was like midnight or 1 a.m., right? And so I'm at the crib with my just with my football teammates. Everyone's just hanging out, chilling, and we need some drinks. So I was like, I went over to the Maverick. I just ran down the road to the gas station to get some drinks. I go in there to grab some, and my other teammate, a receiver that plays with us, he was working the front desk. He was working the graveyard shift there, and I grabbed some
At Maverick.
at the Maverick, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So I grabbed some drinks. I put them on the counter, and he's ringing them up, and he goes, "Yeah, yeah, man. Like, I don't know if you want to go out there right now." I was like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Those guys that are outside in the parking lot right now, they're like um like skinheads, pretty much.
Hmm.
Like they were extreme, like KKK kind of." And
Yeah.
he's like, "So I can call the police if you want, or you can just hang out in here with me if you want, or I don't know what you want to do." And I said, "I've never experienced anything like that." And everyone there loved me. I was on the football team. You know what I mean? Like I loved going to school there. I had a lot of friends, and I didn't think anything of it. I was like, "Man, I'll be cool. I was like, I'll be all right."
Yeah.
So he's like, "All right, man." And so I grabbed my drinks, and I'm walking out to my car. I walk right out the front door, and as soon as I walk out the front door, they're parked in a truck, right? So a pickup truck,
Of,
and they've
of
got
course. Yeah. Of course.
uh,
It's the KKK mobile. Yeah.
The Game Mobile.
but bro, and we can dive into a whole nother topic as far as racism in Utah and people who are racist in Utah. But these are just teenagers, right?
Okay.
They're in a pickup truck. They're bumping 50 Cent, bro. 50 Cent. I remember it clear as day. They're bumping Candy Shop in the
Oh,
parking lot. Parking lot pimping, listening to 50 Cent. They've got three
it's a
girls.
hell of. It's a super seductive song to be like a racist.
Well, I mean, that's one issue.
So many things.
That's one issue with it.
Yeah.
The questions, but they got three girls in the back of the pickup, and there's about three or four dudes. One of the guys comes over to me,
No.
and he says, "Hey, I need to ask you a question." And I'm at my car door right here, right? So I'm reaching down, about to open, like pull the handle to get in my driver's seat. I'm like, "Yeah, man, what's up?" And he goes, "What's the difference between a man and a nigger?" And And so at that second, all I remember going through my mind is because I knew it was coming because my boy told me inside.
Yeah.
So I'm holding my drink bottle in this hand, right? So my grip tightens on my drink bottle because I'm like, if something goes down, I'm just gonna smash through with it and see what and we're gonna go, see what happens. But I say the first thing that comes to my mind, like the first thing that comes to my mind was I said, I don't know, why don't you tell me? And we're just standing face to face, me and him and his boys behind him. And he looks at me for a second and he goes, all right, I can respect that. And he turns around and walks back to his truck. And I get in my car and I drive away.
You left.
And that was
Holy shit.
Bro,
yeah, they didn't do nothing. They didn't, and I mean, that was about it. But that's the closest I've ever experienced in Utah as far as
racism.
Yeah, being approached as far as in person.
Well, other than your ex.
Oh, like people think.
Okay, Shailey, please.
Shailey's ready.
Please proceed.
Yeah.
She was like.
Yeah.
She would just call him the N-word when they'd fight and she was drunk, which I feel like is watch me slit some throats. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
So, but I also feel like didn't she grow up in Tennessee?
Yeah.
Not giving her passes.
When
but I'm just saying
when
in
she
different
was angry and drunk and we were fighting, it would come out. Yeah, that word was thrown around.
Was she poly?
Nah, she was a white girl.
She's probably white. I was saying she was white.
Yeah. She was 15 years older than me, so she was older.
Oh, so that's a
cougar. I'm just kidding.
Did you at least get a PlayStation out of that relationship?
I mean,
I'm out, bro. Stop.
So I have a question for on that topic, Shailey. Shailey and Tony.
Mm-hmm.
What is the biggest difference you guys have, or what are things that you guys notice? Give me two, each of you. Tony, you first. Of dating a black dude, just in general, not necessarily pertaining to Utah, but just things that you weren't aware of, or things that are like, oh, this is new to me by dating a black dude. Good or bad.
One thing for me, and I will say partly because I grew up in Utah. Usually in Utah, the patriarch is the man being not in charge, but ruling the household. The woman in your culture is more of the ruler of the household, which that's different for me for sure. And then I would say I have gotten a little bit of commentary or why is she with a black guy type vibe. I don't know.
Okay. So, Shailey?
No, that makes sense. That's interesting that you say that because about the women thing, because I think in most white families that is the case, but for me, my mom definitely runs that shit. Like, and she always
really
has. Like, my dad was the hardcore disciplinary when it had to come to that extent, but that was always physical, never like a mental thing. And so it was my mom's the breadwinner. My mom is the heart. Like, my mom is that person. But on top of that, my mom's legally blind. So it's interesting that you say that because my mom is like, all of the women in my family, especially on my mom's side, are like go-getters. There's like nothing that's.
I remember you saying that,
which I think is so cool, and it's cool.
That's
like, it's interesting to hear from somebody else's perspective of like, you're not used to that, where I am very used to that, and it's not something I'm not used to.
Question though, is your family LDS?
Yeah.
So for me, like, the patriarch of like the LDS culture has been like very strict in my family. Yeah. That's why I feel now being out of it, and even seeing my sister's relationship with her husband, it's very patriarch. Yeah. Even though she runs shit, he overall runs it over her, even though she takes care of most everything. And so for me, like, he takes care of me and he takes care of like our household, but at the same time, like, your mom runs more.
Yeah, so there's two things to that. There's a historical context and a current context, right?
Yeah.
Current context is most black dudes, like if you bring 3 black dudes in here, so if we have one more black dude in this conversation, one of us is going to jail. Like, it just is what it is. Like that. It's messed up, but like, look at the statistics. It just kind of is what it is, right? And that sucks, right? The historical context for that being is during particular slave periods, the women were in charge of most of the cooking, most of the tending, most of the healthcare needs of everyone. So by default, they were also treated the worst. But by default, they became the essentially the go-between everything. They were midwives, they were everything. So they had the connections and communications with the masters per se, if you will. So they were able to build those particular backgrounds. And as the Black family, if you will, got somewhat destroyed, the women were always able to stay in check and keep things in check. So by default, they had to become the kind of heads of household because there was nobody else to do
Definitely.
So, yeah.
No,
So,
definitely. I fully agree and understand that.
What was your 2 answers too, Shailey?
yeah. So she gave one, said her mom was good, and then
Well,
But that wasn't her answer.
oh no, it wasn't. You're right.
That
you're
was
right.
my answer.
no,
She
I
was
was just
feeding
like
back off of that.
commenting, back on that. But gosh, I mean, I don't.
No, I mean, so it doesn't have to be good or bad. You can be like, I didn't know what cocoa butter was. Like, you can say that. Like,
It doesn't have to be like super
that's okay.
intense.
Well,
Yeah.
no. Well,
What the hell is a do-rag?
interesting for
I can
me
name a lot. I'll tell you that.
that I didn't.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, but like,
Okay.
okay, you're
Go
talking
ahead, bro.
movies or like. Okay, tell me
That's a
what
thing.
you're thinking.
Like the culture of like that
Yeah.
type of stuff.
Pretty much, it's technically the culture of a Black or a Polynesian man
Hmm.
that she was 100% foreign to. Other than, I think you knew that, and this is going to come from the comment that her mother made about when she found out that she was dating a Black guy. Is if you're going to date a Black guy, why don't you date a Black guy that is
No,
an
she said
NBA player?
an NBA
Because
player.
at least he has money.
Because I was dancing for the Jazz at the time.
So I
Oh.
Black
So
culture.
my question is, and I'm not trying to put your mom on blast,
No.
but did she think that most Black dudes were either rappers or athletes?
Ones that her daughter should be with.
I think that was about the extent of their family's
what their-
knowledge of Black people, like experience
Okay.
with Black.
Okay. What else, Sammy?
Okay, so I hate to even admit this, but all growing up, I always was more attracted to, brown men in general, like, and not even Black, like,
Why do you think that meant that?
not that part. That's normal. I don't think that's.
Same sis, same. I can relate.
But so, like, my boyfriend in high school was Native American, and then I had other, like, I never have dated like one ethnicity. Like, that's never been my thing.
All right. Hey, please keep talking. I can hear you.
You're good.
Dealers.
I get it. You're good. But so I never dated one ethnicity, but I had always told.
Oh, hold on. Sorry. They're actually. You come say hi.
Keep talking. Y'all are good.
Well, I was gonna say they can meet
So
our
this
friends.
is my little brother and his
This
girl.
is Amanda here.
Hi,
This is
what's up?
Shailey and Sammy, and this is
Alright,
Pat's
so-
brother.
yeah.
Hey, what's up then?
I miss you. They're our dealers.
So that's another.
I did kick his ass.
Yeah. So that's another interracial couple.
Yeah, here we are.
Yeah.
All of the
Hispanic and Black. Are you Hispanic? Can I say that?
Yeah.
Puerto Rican, maybe?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
She said she loves it.
Yeah. So Shailey was.
Okay.
Y'all are good. Y'all are good.
Well, I don't want to have her keep going if we're gonna.
No. They're so
Okay.
Yeah. Y'all can chill. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. We probably got 20 more minutes. Y'all are good. Yeah. So. Yeah. Here, get some. Yeah.
Hey.
So Shailey, please keep on. We can hear you. They're just
You're good.
You don't know.
So I remember being younger, and
Go ahead.
I think one of my brothers might have said the N-word, and I told them, I said, you're not going to be able to say that when I have babies when I'm older. So, like,
Oh, wow. So how old do you think you were?
I was in at least elementary school or young junior high. Like, I was.
So you knew like at a young age. This is what.
But I was always attached. So I danced all growing up. So I was attached to the culture musically. Like, I always was very involved with, like, he's always so shocked
And
at.
that's where I was kind of going with it before you jumped in. I
Okay.
think your family's extent through their experience, the Black culture was music and
And
sports.
athletes.
Which is the majority of the world, right?
Yeah.
The majority of the world, they
That's
know
all you know.
to do with
Definitely.
music, sport, and fashion. Music, sports, and fashion, right? But I mean, the way that a family is run, as far as like, we'll say punishment for one. I think punishment's going to be one thing, and then dealing with a Black or a Polynesian mother, I think is going to be a very different thing that she's got used to. She obviously, my mother's Polynesian. She's not Black, but she did get to know my pops a little bit before he passed away. Other than that, I mean, the food, things as far as the food, the way that we interact with one another, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you see another Black dude on the road, it is what it is. Like, you react differently to you see a brother walk by than just any average person on the road, right?
So this is one thing that is hilarious to me, right? And Tony's mom in particular does not get it, but the fact that
like every time Pat or my other brother-in-law Jay, who's Black also, whenever they see another Black person, they do like a head nod. And my mom is like,
she's like, what does that mean?
What is that? Why when you see another race, do you not do that?
That's it.
Oh, she gets
what's the secret? Head ass.
She wants to be nodded at by a Black person so bad.
So bad.
That's not happening.
Tell her just be like, next time you see a Black guy, just give him the nod.
Just nod. They'll nod back.
and so that it's not even like, hey, like low key.
Is in her feels about it for real. So she wants to be nodded at by the other race.
Yeah, but it's a cultural thing, but also it's not, because I know plenty of white dudes that. It's just whoever. Like, it's more of it's more of a man thing than yeah.
Yeah, like you're acknowledging that person and realizing they're there, and like I think putting out the respect of like, hey, I see you. Like I that's what I think of it as, at least, because I think that it's I more of like a respect thing versus like anything else, and it doesn't necessarily come from like one ethnicity, but I think that that's probably where it started from.
But what's embedded in Black people, or we can even focus it down to Black men, to where you do that with any Black man you come across? Because I can see two white guys that know each other walking by, and you know what I mean?
But they don't interact like that.
But I'm just saying, if they know each other, they could.
But if they know each other, yeah. Or if they are like acquaintances, yes. But like every Black person that we pass, Pat doesn't know them. No. He'll do a head nod.
Well, I'm saying white guys that walk by a random white person they've never seen before and will never see again, they're not going to look up at them and do that.
They don't do that.
That's true. Saying. But even if they know each other,
because that shit is common.
Yeah, but from my experience, I don't feel like I see white men running around nodding at each other, or even if they do know each other, they're not nodding at each other. They'll say hi, or like, you know what, like.
It's just a different interaction.
Different thing than a greeting interaction. You know what I mean? Like, it's a very specific, like, I see you, I respect you, this is
right.
You know what I mean? It's very.
That's what it is.
It means so much more than just like the little glimpse of what it is, which I think is so cool.
Which I think is why my mom is in her feels about it, because she knows it's way more than a head nod. And she wants that. She wants white people to do it too. She's so confused, babe. She's confused as to why only
her mom wishes she was with a Negro.
She has jungle fever, but she didn't realize it until she turned 50.
Oh, I love it so much.
Okay. So here. Okay, serious question.
Okay,
Sammy, going back to what we talked about before, how is it?
Oh yeah.
When you are just you and Shailey's prior child, before you guys had Kai. And that's your child's name, right?
No,
Kai?
Kona.
Kona. Sorry. Before you guys had Kona. Yeah. Before you guys had Kona and you were out with the prior two children, like, how does that go, man? Do you feel like, hey, these are my kids? I know you're stepdad, but those are your babies, though. I know this. I see you with them. I know those are your babies. Like, how is that interaction? And then bringing into the next one, like, how does that change up the interaction as well, too? Please.
Oh, it's crazy, man. I'm not going to pretend and sit here and lie and say it's easy. You know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of things come into play. I think, and this comes back to you asking me the question of my experience as being a Black man in Utah, right? In a state where there are not only are Black people a minority, but it's almost a rarity, right?
There are 17 total. I know.
So, did we get one more?
I don't know
16. Is there one
He
more?
counted.
Yeah.
He knows all of them. Same as you guys. We all
Yeah.
know the same ones.
Yeah, I'm in and out every here and there. Yeah.
We're friends on Instagram, you know?
But no, I think it comes back. So not only that, so there's definitely that comes into play, but I think a lot of it comes into just who you are as a man, right? In that situation as a man, and I feel that for me that trumped any external circumstances, right? Whether it was a person or races or how anyone reacted to anything, I control who I am at all times. I'm very good at controlling who I am, and that's what dictates pretty much all of my actions. And so the reason I say that is because this is a question I get a lot on social media, actually, by a lot
I knew that.
of younger black men that they'll hit me up and say, "Hey, man, I'm in an interracial relationship. My girl is this," or I just married a girl and she's got 2 kids. How do you deal with this? And I get it a lot, and I never want to put it out there and be the one to say, this is what you need to do and this is what you should do, because every man's going to react differently to a situation. You shouldn't.
Right.
I don't care if it's a relationship. I don't care if it's racism or what. Like you can't ever tell any man to be like, "Hey, this is what you need to do in that situation," because that man is that own man. You know what I mean? He's going to react differently to any situation than you are and every other man in the world. So the reason I say all that is because, so we did have, there's a lot of looks.
It's very funny to
lot
watch.
of looks everywhere. I would expect it though. I expect when at first walking around with 2 little white kids, and the thing
Especially
that
with how young they were,
I was
because
gonna
when
say
we
their
met,
age,
they were 2.5 and
Right.
5, so they were babies.
little white kids.
Got you.
So
Hey,
he could have
Sammy,
looked like
Sammy, hold that thought. Hold that thought. Shailey, just hold it, please. Do not lose that thought, okay? Shailey, do you ever see those looks like Sammy's with the kids, but you're on the outskirts, right? And you can see the looks happening? You ever see? Okay.
She's seen it, I'm sure.
So you noticed it when you wouldn't have noticed it before, probably, right?
Yes and no. More so yes than no, but yes and no.
Okay. Sammy, please. Sorry.
Uh,
I just wanted I can see it on her face. She wanted to get it out. So
It's
yeah, go
so
ahead.
funny to watch because I remember one time we went to Lagoon, and I actually have the picture still. And he has 1 kid on each side, and he's holding each of their hands, and I took a picture from the back. But there's people walking this way going,
Staring.
well,
Like what?
well, they'll
what's
turn
happening?
and look back once they pass me, so I don't
Yes.
see them.
But I see
Looking.
them because I'm behind them. And so it's interesting too. And I mean, on top of it, which is like a whole different topic, your size makes you stand out on top of your color in Utah, where
Right.
it's like a
It's
rose
like screaming.
in the middle of like
A
weeds.
rose.
Yeah, well,
But it's like
I'll be like, who is this swole ass movie star with these white kids showing him a good ass time? Hell yeah.
nanny.
You know, when you got money, like I got money,
They're like, what does this guy do?
I just go adopt white kids. I got
Yeah, man, he good. He's showing love to all the communities. He's a good guy. Look at him.
Adopt white kids.
All right, hey, bro, please continue, man. You're going off the list, bro. Please continue.
Nah, bro, but it's mainly just looks, to be honest. Like, and I'm not gonna
Okay.
feel like they weren't there, but this is what I understand. As I said, I'm gonna approach any situation of being me, and me being who I am. I do my thing. I don't give a fuck who's around, who's looking. I'm gonna do my thing. But also with that, I try to approach life with a great sense of not only sympathy but empathy. Right? You got to have empathy because you don't know what someone's thinking. You don't know where someone's been from. And so I expect when we would walk in places that people are just gonna look, right? And so if I came in that mindset of like, man, any motherfucker that looks at me is going down. Like, I would be fighting every day, everywhere we went. I would have had felt some type of way. I would have been in a bad attitude. I would have just been negative every day. But I went into any place, if we go to an amusement park or a grocery store, expecting, like she said, when I'm walking in with two little white kids, people are going to look and stare. And I don't immediately think that that's because they're racist or that's because they're thinking bad thoughts. I just understand the situation for what it is. Just like we just said.
I mean, Yeah.
I'm walking in a place with 2 little kids. It could be the worst of the worst where they're thinking, dude, this black dude just stole 2 little white babies. Or
Exactly.
it could be the best and the most positive, which we've had many times where I've had 90-year-old women walk into me at a grocery store and I'm holding these 2 little white kids, and 90-year-old white women would walk up to me. I have no idea who they are, and they'll just grab me on the shoulder and say, "This is beautiful. I love seeing this."
Aww.
Definitely.
So one thing.
So it's not always negative. Where
It's
maybe
not.
naturally I would be like,
No. One thing about that, and I think it comes, Sammy, you're my age, man. So I know there's a level of maturity with it, and having to deal with it for a long period of time, you get that. But eventually, you start becoming into a person that you see the opportunity, the situation as an opportunity to educate, which I think is dope, man. Yeah, and that's all it's about. Because a lot of people just, especially,
they don't know.
and I'm not trying to bash on Utah, man. It's just only because you guys are from there and we go out there a lot. A lot of people just don't know. And again, there's racist people everywhere, but a lot of people just do not know. And so, yeah, they really don't know. So that's all I'm getting at.
Hard with Utah is I don't think it's like the South where it's like a deep rooted like outward racism.
We're not gonna take it. Yes.
Yeah.
I think more so that's where like systemic racism comes into play of like things that don't click for them or like things that don't. I mean, yes, a lot of it is ignorance. I don't think it's necessarily racism. I think it's ignorance. But then that's when I think that systemic racism does come into play in that same situation of like not understanding and not. I mean, I think as generations go on, the younger generations are more willing to learn. And with social media being so open as it is, I think that kids are understanding. Like, I mean, sis and B are like so involved in stuff like that. And I mean, that's also conversations in our household that we have. But it's definitely something that I think is changing. But I think
so.
The older generations have such a hard time with like any kind of change. It's not racial changes. It's like gay change.
Anything.
Whatever it is, it's just the fact that it's changing doesn't feel okay with them.
Well,
so
like
right.
That said, I think you hit the nail on the head, bro. It's like, and I'll say this with Utah, and this is what, because I know, because I've seen, I don't know if it was a podcast you guys did before, or you guys were just in general talking. I've seen that. I know that you've had some negative experience. I don't know if they're personal experiences or people you know with police, right?
I've had there's probably nobody on the planet that hates. No, I'm just saying, there's probably nobody on the planet that hates cops more than me, bro. And I'm just being honest.
I got that feel from what I've seen, and I was actually talking with Shailey about that because, like I just told you, my experience out here in Utah is none, bro. Like
I love him.
I have been arrested out here, and I'll say that I've been arrested, but they treated me like, honestly, they treat me like an NFL player. Like, I've had police pull me over, let me off almost every time. They treated me nice as shit. Like, so me coming from out here in Utah, I'm like, I ain't got no problem with police. But I'm very understanding to the areas and the demographics that people are in. Yeah. And I think that plays.
Yeah, man, it's crazy you say that because I'm actually like, when we're driving and we're in, like I said, we do the Utah tour every time we go out there. I'm actually more nervous to drive out there than I am out here. But what you're saying, it's like, nah, actually, you're good, bro. Because there's been plenty of times, man. Even in one experience stands out to me in particular, and I'll be quick with it. Is I was at a football game, bro, and I was like maybe a freshman in high school, and I was in sweats in my high school
here in Texas.
Here in Dallas, and I was in my high school. You know, you get like your high school sweats that have like the old school blue or whatever thing on it, like they're real dingy and they have like a weird number on them or whatever. But anyway, I remember sitting on the front steps, and it didn't hit me until years later in my life. But random cop comes up to me, and mind you, our football squad was big. I mean, our football stadium is huge, right?
Where is this at?
Random cop.
Dallas.
This is in Dallas. Oh. Cop comes up to me and I'm surrounded by like white people and Mexicans, bro. Like it's literally just me. Comes up and is like, hey, come here. And I'm just like, okay, I'm not doing anything. I'm a straight A student, never missed a day in class. Like, I know I haven't done anything wrong, right? Next thing you know, dude, I'm being frisked in front of like 3,000-4,000 people. Somebody said you had a knife. Wait, what? wait, somebody said I had a knife. Like, I don't have a knife. No, you have a knife. Somebody said you had a knife. Yeah. Well, who said I had a knife? I can't tell you. Thank God my stepdad was there. Right? And so from a young age, man, and I've had more experiences like.
Is your stepdad black or white?
My stepdad's black.
Oh.
But thankfully what I mean by thank God he was there is he knew what the situation was, and I had an adult that was able to say, hey, no, this isn't happening right now. No, this is who my student was. Hey, go get the principal. Principal, come talk. No, we know him. This is how this guy is, right? But mind you, I know dudes that are like bad dudes that sell drugs, and I used to be like an angel, right? I know dudes that sell drugs and this and that are sitting in the area that I am, but you come and get me. You know what I mean? And so, I have.
That was just one of the many.
That's one of maybe 50. But again, different experience. I'm not trying to bash on cops right now. Whatever.
No, man, but I get.
What I'm saying.
I mean, I think that's where empathy comes into play. Like, I completely understand. That's why. I mean, the world's crazy, bro. Like whatever state you're in, whatever city you're in, whatever part of the world you're in. That's how I really approach it. And I'm really hesitant to get on and say things in a certain manner where I'm saying
I'm not.
This is.
I know.
I was like, then we got Shailey.
What I'm getting at. Yeah. Huh? What I'm getting at is you are connecting the correlations that it may be ignorance where you are as opposed to just blatant racism.
No.
And by our experiences being a little bit different, and you look suspect. I'm not gonna lie, I'll arrest your ass. But I'm just but you just
I get a little nervous off on me. You know what I'm saying?
And I think so that's what I was going to say, I don't know when, earlier, but we were talking about something. I think a lot of the times when it comes to like other men and him, they drop his color and look at his size and instantly think athlete. And so it's not even that he's a black man, it's that he's a big man. And it's not, do you know, like, and I think that it goes into like almost a pyramid of like, I've heard people talk about like pretty privilege or like white privilege or whatever privilege. And I think that
privilege, bro. That light skin privilege. I'm not light skinned. I'm just saying this. I believe I
have a perfect complexion, but I don't get that. Yeah.
You do have perfect complexion.
I do. I'm looking at myself in this camera like, damn, bro.
I know, and your shit's clear as fuck over there too.
I'm just black.
I can see
Shailey, question. Hey, not trying to. Well, 180. You and Tony. Where do you guys get the most hate from? Black women or white men?
Ooh.
I get the stares from black women way more than any other race.
Okay.
I guess it depends on in person or social media. If it's social media, I think white men. If it's in person, I don't know if I've ever had.
She's had one experience in person.
No, yes, one experience in person, but like I don't know if I'm not a very observant person, and I've started to try and become more observant. But I don't know if I've ever really seen a white guy like do something. Do you know what I mean? The only thing that's really happened is like in-person stuff with my ex, but not even like, again, I think it was more so ignorance situation than anything.
You've never seen a white guy do what?
Like give us a stare or like look at us funny because why'd you roll your eyes?
Would they? You think a white guy would walk up to us and give us a look?
Well,
or give you a look in front of me? You
that's what I'm saying.
You might want to cut that part out, actually.
I got you. You're good. You're good.
You think a white guy's gonna walk up there and be like, "What the fuck are you with this guy for?" Like,
but the comments on Instagram, Shay, are mostly white men coming for you from a fake account or a real account.
So most of the racial slurs are coming. I mean, I'm guessing from white men because it's like mud shark or you're with a monkey or like.
Yeah, that's how we are.
That is a new phrase.
Mud shark? Not that one yet?
Oh, it's coming.
I've never heard that. Hey, low-key, that shit's actually funny. It's corny, but it's funny as fuck. A mud shark?
That happened. That happened at the beginning of our relationship. So the first.
No, it's so corny, but it's so funny at the same time. So whatever.
That one happened like when we went to California to visit your dad, That's when that one started. So I don't know if it was the fact that we were tagging like California areas or what, but I had never heard, or what, there's a duck one. Isn't there a duck one?
I don't know, mud duck? I don't know. They just keep putting us in the mud.
Are we taking shots with that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I mean,
shit.
hey, so you know what? Hey, think about it.
These
Sammy.
two poured us up.
Let's
They're
go,
still
yeah.
here.
So Sammy, going off of what you said.
Mine, yours is over there.
Oh,
No.
cheers.
Yeah, no, Sammy, going off of what you said, man.
What's happening?
Yeah, no, we've kind of been through the mud. So mud shark's kind of a term of endearment, man. I fuck with it.
That's what I was saying. They've been putting us through the mud. So mud duck, mud monkey.
Mud monkey.
Anybody call me a monkey, we box them. Period.
Anyway.
No.
You ain't called me a fucking mud monkey, bro.
Shailey.
I cannot.
All right, hey, so this is gonna be a complete ass 180, right?
Came through dripping Aquafina, I'm sipping 15, kept a weapon on me. Flow make digits, I'm on my business, stack chicken like what it's gon' be. Crew in the cut, hey, you want us red run when I tell a bit peace. Love is love. Love is